one of the world's brightest young lights at the moment.
Cruel takedown or appropriate expose?
Nah, see, here's the thing. Nobody's getting it. Nobody understands it. Nobody understands what he's doing. They don't get the face tattoos. They don't get the schlubbiness, and they don't understand the mumbly way that he kind of mumbles his words together and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, okay.
Because he comes from the mumble rap scene.
But Harley, he could also just be a fucking dumb shit.
But I don't think he is. I watched a little doco about him. I was feeling him. I watched it twice. I never watched I don't watch that many things. I watched the Post Malone documentary twice though. It was an inspiring story. Inspiring story of a young man chasing his dreams. Just a schlubby guy. It's like so he's a schlubby white guy from Texas, and somehow he becomes one of the biggest hip-hop artists in the world. That is an inspirational story right there, because you'd go, well, hang on, he's ugly, he's got like long hair, but he's balding, he's fat for his age, and now he's got always tired tattooed on his face, amongst other things, amongst other stupid things. And yet, here he stands before us, a story of success. And frankly, I appreciate that type of thing.
Well, yes, but then we're getting into, like, what are we celebrating? What type of success? Are we really celebrating mediocrity?
No, we're celebrating
embracing
catchy
and
music.
Celebrating mediocrity.
His music is catchy.
Vapid.
It's not vapid.
Empty, or completely empty of all...
What's a little vapid?
of depth. Completely empty of any kind of depth. Yes, look, no one is denying that Post Malone songs are catchy. That's the reason we find ourselves in this
predicament.
Yes, this situation. But the problem is that, it used to have to be much more that made you a sort of a just compare David Bowie to Post Malone.
Yeah, but these are people from different eras.
Yeah, different eras, but that's the thing. Like, what did it take to be this kind of guy back then versus what does it take to be this guy now? Like,
no, because there was way less successful pop stars back then as well, because there was no internet, so there was less audience. There was less audience readily available. So what that meant was, David Bowie, yeah, sure, he had to work real hard and all that stuff.
Sure, he had to master instruments and understand how to write and constantly reinvent himself and change the perceptions of how a rock star should be viewed with his stylistic choices. Sure, he had to do all that.
But now
fucking tattoo rest easy on your face.
Now the entire the game has changed. It's open to a lot more people now.
It's open, all right. The fucking floodgates are open, and we are. I think that it is a problem, because I think that at the end of the day, yeah, Post Malone is cool. In the sense that I listen to his songs and go, yeah, not bad. Do I go, this is this should be placed on a pedestal as the most successful artist of the current time? No, 100% no. Really, he's shitty, kind of poppy, very repetitive. I mean, it's what I go into all the time of what I don't like about hip hop and rap, and I consider him more an R&B really than a hip hop artist really, because he doesn't really rap as such. He more sings and croons his way through 5 words per song, and we all sing along because it's easy to remember 5 words, and if you repeat them again and again and again, those words get stuck in your head, and then you kind of want to listen to them again, and then you kind of play it again, and then you think that it's a good song, but it's not. And I do think that is a real issue here with a lot of Post Malone's output.
Well, I would say that actually the whole mumble rap scene is basically... it is a legitimate art form, and it is punk rock reborn is what it is. It's punk rock reborn. That's what it is. Okay? Rock came along.
But remember that I think this is
rock came along.
Punk was like a movement about like a sort of a
anti-establishment.
Yes, these guys
anti-9 to 5.
These guys aren't anti-establishment.
Mate. Oh, hang on. Let me tell you about
They're part of the system. They're part of the.
Well, we all are.
They're part of the corporate entity.
So were the record labels that were distributing the Sex Pistols albums.
Yes, but like they're like Post Malone isn't revolting against Donald Trump right now. He's singing about candy paint.
Actually, there is one of his songs where one of his guest rappers
says that's not even
something
him.
about, but it's his song. He's obviously not a fucking Republican.
But Post Malone probably didn't even listen to the lyrics of his guest rapper. He puts that much effort into his music right now.
Maybe. Look, it's punk rock reborn. That's what it is. Listen. Here we go. Look, rock had been around. What? That's the title. Yeah, punk rock reborn.
Post Malone is punk rock reborn.
That's too long for a title. But so rock had been around for a while. And it had gotten all poppy and clean, and there was all sorts of, the stuff that was popular was like super clean and well produced and all that type of stuff. And then punk rock came along and was like, hey, fuck you, fuck like mixing it properly, fuck learning your instruments properly, fuck it all. Let's just make creative songs that embody a movement, an anti-establishment movement, and express some honest, raw emotion and try to just kind of be true to itself. And that's what they did, all those bands, right? Now, hip-hop's a little bit younger than rock. Now, hip-hop's just reaching its punk phase now. But if you look at it, they're all the same, right? They got the brightly coloured hair. They are anti-establishment. They have the tattoos on their face because they say, I'm not going to work a 9 to 5, so I'm going to get a big old dick tattooed on my face.
Or an ice cream.
Or an ice cream. Or anything.
Or anything stupid.
Anything stupid. They'll tattoo it on their face, and what they're saying with that is, I'm not going to be a part of this 9 to 5 world. But
also, what they're saying is, I'm fucking stupid.
No, they're saying I'm going balls deep on my dreams, all right, and I'm not giving myself a plan B.
I'm going balls deep on stupidity.
I'm not giving myself a plan B. Now, look, I'm not saying it's what I would do, but I can see what they're doing, and I appreciate it. And I think it also is to do with them being millennials as well. I think it's like they're a little bit younger than us, but we are still millennials. And I think it's to do with that as well. Like the world is ending, so the music is not like happy music usually, and it's kind of just like, well, nothing matters and fuck it, and let's just get a fucking candy coated car, candy painted car,
and yeah, candy coated car. And make a song about that.
Yeah,
with very few lyrics.
Yes, but the lyrics, as I mentioned, it's not about the artistry or making the best song.
Yeah, I know.
It's not about that.
I know.
It's like punk rock, because it's punk rock reborn.
But punk rock was also like, their lyrics and emotion. Like, you're right in the sense that maybe they weren't the best.
I'm not saying they're exactly the same.
Vocalists or singers, but their lyrics and emotion was directly in reaction to the oppressive government and, those authority figures, whereas that is not what Post Malone's lyrics are about. Or like, he's not reacting to an intense, like, there's the thing. He
was
doing it about some...
What about these lyrics then? What about these lyrics? Okay, so this is from Guy's punk rock movement that he's imagined. Na 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 na. I believe that's Blink-182.
Okay,
from the punk rock movement.
They're not from the Blink-182 and not from the punk rock movement either.
They're from the punk rock movement.
No, unfortunately, like, I like Blink-182. They're not from the punk rock movement. They're like
blatantly.
They're pop punk from like 20 years after the punk rock movement.
Yeah, I mean they were late arrivals to the scene. But yes, anyway, the rebirth of punk rock, Post Malone.
Post Malone, man, I hope he goes away soon. I just hope. What I hope is that we, as a society and a culture, start expecting a bit more and kind of demanding a bit more of our artists. So,
well, we don't want the 5150 to demand any more of us.
Don't demand any more of us,
Yeah.
of course. But like, what comes back into vogue is an appreciation of depth in these creative endeavors. Because it's the same problem that we talk about in movies. You know, well, they're all shit.
Yeah, it's all getting dumbed down. Everything's getting dumbed down.
It's getting dumbed down, and the music is getting dumbed down, and movies are getting dumbed down. And what does that mean? It means that less interesting movies gets made because we're going to see Avengers 4. And it's cool, it's fine to see Avengers 4 if you're also going to take yourself to The Godfather. But you're not. You're only going to Avengers 4.
Because that movie's 20 years old.
Well, I was trying to think of an equivalent. Like, for instance, I'll bring up, in fact, this brings me into my next topic. I went to see a movie called Mandy the other day. And it's really pretty amazing. It's quite brilliant. It stars Nicolas Cage in full Nicolas Cage mode. And it's, basically this crazy sort of revenge tale. Nicolas Cage and his wife bump into a cult and things escalate from there. There's a guy with a sword for a penis. I mean, there's really some out there ideas and concepts, and it's not a mainstream movie. It's not going to make a lot of money, but it should, because people should be just as excited about going, fuck, have you seen that fucked up film called Mandy
penis?
with the guy, his penis was like he'd had so much LSD that had become a sword person, and his penis was a sword. From what I could tell, was that what you thought? Was that a sword penis to you, or was that just a extremity that was not his sword penis?
I'm just not sure if the parents are going to agree with you when it comes down to the Avengers 4 versus sword penis. Attack of Mandy.
I'm
just
not
don't
really.
know.
I'm talking about people that are 18 and over, obviously.
Right. Well, if you're 18 and over, why would you be going to a children's movie such as the Avengers 4?
Well,
that's for 13-year-olds.
Unfortunately, that is everybody. So that's the thing, is that we don't have the same reverence and appreciation, or even the idea of like, look, this film is going to be fucked up. Maybe I'm going to hate it. Maybe for me, I'm going to wind up hating it, but I want to go there to experience a reaction to it, whether it is or isn't for me. And we just don't offer these films like Mandy anymore. And so this comes along and it's a total anomaly and it's a total rarity, which is why I'm talking about it, and I encourage you all to go see it. It takes a little while to get going, but when things get going, there's sword penises, there's all sorts of magical stuff going on. And it really is good, because it's something that, like, yeah, you might come away and go, fuck, I hated that, or fuck, I love that, or fuck, I don't even know what to make of that. But it's at least something. At least makes you feel something. At least asks you to maybe ask some questions after you watch it. What did it mean? What the fuck was it about? Was it a sword penis or not? These are all things that you have to internalize and think about, and we're not doing that with movies. And I think that's just a shift in culture. Like, now we're not doing it in music. We're not doing it in movies. We're not doing it in music. So where the fuck are we doing it?
Well, music does need more sword penises. I'm in agreement there.
Yeah.
And look, it's all just transitional. It's constant. Everything's constantly transitioning. It's all ebbs and flows. The only constant is change. And this is just the rebirth of punk rock, and it'll just transform into something else soon enough. They're rebelling. They're rebelling against how clean and well-produced Drake is, and how perfectly everything is. Perfect every...
Post Malone is the same as Drake. They're the same fucking thing. They're a carbon copy.
Yeah, but
of
he's
each
not
other.
a pretty boy. He's a schlubby dude with tattoos on his face.
That's
and
the
so,
only
like,
difference.
Yeah, but
And
there's
his
a big
lyrics are
honesty
worse
to that.
than Drake's.
There's a big honesty to that.
And
to that schlubbiness.
Drake lyrics aren't good, and his lyrics are worse than Drake's.
But the thing is, I feel like Post
all
Malone
you're saying is
captures an emotion.
The emotion,
it's like punk
it's
rock.
half-assedness. It's a half-assing everything.
No, the man's a genius.
He is not
Leave
a genius.
Post Maloney alone.
It's so bad. But anyway, so I think whatever you do, whether you listen to Post Malone or not,
Yeah. You should go see Mandy.
You should get out and at least go see Mandy.
Well, Guy is going to post the trailer to Mandy on the Facebook page, facebook.com/GuyandHarley. So go check it out. That'll encourage the listeners to change the world, of cinema.
Change the world.
To down with the Avengers 4, up with Mandy.
You can still go see Avengers 4.
Yeah.
But just go see some of these crazy fucked up films while we're at it. We just need to bring back this idea that it's cool to go see challenging films, and that challenging films are just as important, if not more so than they're also the generic blockbusters. I feel like this happened in the 80s, but then there was this big kind of resurgence in the 90s of a bunch of really cool films like Pulp Fiction, Seven, and all those kind of films.
Spice World.
Yeah, was that the night? I guess it was the 90s.
Might have been the late 90s, I thought.
Could have been the 90s.
Early 2000s, I'm not sure.
But there was kind of like a resurgence, but then there hasn't been a resurgence. It's all shit now.
It's all transitioning now.
So we just need a little bit more of that sort of thing. Mandy, Nicolas Cage. Also, what struck me about it was Nicolas Cage, like, obviously everyone gives shit, like Nicolas Cage shit for his acting.
Yeah.
Right?
The bees!
Oh, the bees!
No.
But at the end of the day, like, I was especially watching his performance in this, and I was like, man, he's really kind of the modern day Jack Nicholson. Like, he's making these choices. Yeah. If you're not on board with them, then you're really going to just take... But you could do exactly the same thing with The Shining. So what's the difference? You know, it's about making bold choices, which is about making bold choices more as a whole as filmmakers. I liked all of it. And I like that Nicolas Cage performance, even though obviously there's some stuff where you're like, oh, he's caging out again. But what do you want? Like, and clearly what motivates him as an actor is like, I want to try extreme crazy stuff. Sometimes, maybe it's not going to work. The bees. But
that wasn't his fault either. I mean, it was a cool enough idea, but they were expecting him to pretend there was all the bees all over his face.
But there was no bees.
CGI bees.
There's no bees.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
he just
had to wig out and pretend.
And also they were like wig out, and also I'm sure
he did different versions of
exactly.
that.
Exactly. He was they were probably like, give us the classic Cage rage. And he goes, cool. And he goes, I'll give you a bunch of different ones. You just pick the one you want.
Yeah.
And they picked, the bees.
Yeah.
The bees. And, he may have watched it and gone, personally, I would have chose the bees one because I feel that makes me look stupid. But fucking thank you for that, guys.
But it is keeping them current on the internet.
That's me as an artist putting myself out there. And you taking advantage of my Cage enthusiasm a little bit. But anyway, fully recommend it. Mandy, go check it out. It's also by director... I don't really know how to pronounce his name. It's like Panos Cosmatos or something crazy, right? He also directed another amazing film called Beyond the Black Rainbow, which we may have talked about very early on in this podcast. Another excellent film that you should definitely watch, that is definitely very fucked up, and you may not love. You may feel a different way about it, but you should definitely watch it because it's one of those films. A director for the future, this guy.
Noted.
Cool.
Well, last week we mentioned that I was hanging out with Michael Caine and that I was going to be on the show Sunday, whereas I was interviewed for a show called Sunday for a segment that I was doing about Michael Caine, and it aired the other day. I am in it. I'm not very heavily featured, but there's a montage of people going, "My name is Michael Caine," and not a lot of people know that.
And your shitty impression
is there. And then it cuts to me, and I go, "What's it all about, Alfie?" Which he doesn't even say. He literally never. No. He doesn't say that. He is Alfie.
Yeah, someone says that to him.
Yeah.
I think maybe he does narrate because he does talk to himself, I think, in that one, and maybe he goes, "So what is it all about, Alfie?" So maybe he actually does do that, but he definitely doesn't do it like you did it.
Did you watch the video?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to share the video on the Facebook page, facebook.com/GuyandHarley. I've clipped it out.
I was too angry that Michael Caine would be seeing you rather than
He did see me.
rather than beloved fanboy Guy Pigden.
Well, I do like him.
I know, but
I don't dislike him. I got another ticket. So when I was driving for the festival, I got one ticket, $180 worth, and then that was my first night, like picking people up from the airport, and then I just got another one the other day for my last night, dropping people off at the airport for another 120.
yeah,
So-
no one put you onto this concept of adhering to the speed limit. No one really got that across to you.
In my defence,
in a
it was
heavily,
late at night.
heavily
in an empty tunnel,
Yeah.
and I was only going 100. It's not like I was
which
hooning.
everybody knows is
Well,
filled with
but
speed cameras.
I didn't know because I've been driving a motorbike for ages. So I never take the motorbike to the airport. So I have had no reason to drive to the airport since the tunnel was built. So this was my first time using it. So I was just like dee hooning on through at 100. We're on the freaking highway, but it's meant to be 80.
Yeah.
So that'll teach me. That's $300 and something down the gurgler.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm an environmentally conscientious masturbator, and it's clear to me that what I'm doing with these vaginas in a can is unsustainable. It's damaging to the environment. Right? So I'm going through one of these plastic vaginas in a can, like one a week. I need to invest in an eco-friendly, sustainable, reusable alternative, and that's why I've started up the Buy Harley Neville a Fleshlight Fund. You can contribute. In the link down below our live stream, it's a show us your tips. You can click down there and you can put in a few bucks towar's the Buy Harley a Fleshlight Fund. Otherwise, patreon.com/Pigville.
I don't know why you need one. You're like a eligible single bachelor.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is in another country, and I'm stuck.
Well-
living a life of celibacy. Wasn't it by Guy a Fleshlight Fund?
Well, if people would like to specify that this is for Guy's fleshlight, that's not a problem. When making your contribution, simply specify. Or what we'll do is we'll save for two. We'll up what we're aiming for from $199 to $398, and we'll buy two of the top end fleshlights.
And
we'll thank the 5150.
we've so far
Patreon.com/Pigville or buymeacoffee.com and search for Pigville or Harley Neville.
we've so far raised how much on our journey?
$2. That's a good start. That's a fair beginning. You can't say fairer than that. A step of 1,000 miles a journey of 1,000 miles is taken with one step.
Yeah,
Or whatever that is.
$2.
$2.
$2.
Thank you very much to that contributor. What do you got there?
Well, speaking of money, and so we talked a little bit about the other week about my hard drive failing. Which was cool that happened.
An impotent drive.
And then one day I was dad joke number one, in case you remember that. There's dad joke. The first one of the episode was mark that down, that time code, whatever it is. But anyway, so I had a hard drive, it failed. I hadn't backed it up. It's going to cost me, $200 to replace the hard drive. $200 to $300 to recover the contents of the hard drive if it is recoverable. So that was not great. A couple of days later, another hard drive failed. And I was like, all right, hang on a fucking second. It's one hard drive failing is still kind of unlikely. Like, yeah, they do, but it's pretty rare. This hard drive wasn't that old. And I was like, that's weird. When the second one failed, I was like, okay, what the fuck? What is the common denominator between all these things? And I was like, well, I just put these two hard drives in a new external hard drive storage. And I was like, okay, so is it this new external? Because that's the only difference. They were fine before. I put them in this thing. And so then I started looking up reviews on the internet of this particular hard drive enclosure. And what do you know? A lot of 1-star reviews. And what do you know? They were like, warning, do not get this hard drive. Wiped all my hard drives. warning, I lost 2 hard drives putting in, warning. Like, there was just like a string of like 30 of these reviews. And I was like, what the fuck? And, it turns out it's, a kind of a Chinese company who are not maybe particularly invested in quality control. And, it is one of those things. I'm all about saving a buck.
Yeah.
I'm all about saving $1. I'm buying lots of gear. I'm trying to, upskill. I'm trying to, create the Pigville Productions, the Pigville Productions filmmaking studio. And, I basically saved $200 on this hard drive enclosure going, that was a great deal. What do I need the expensive one for? I'll just get this one. It's a bit cheaper. It's great. It saved $200. Well, fucking egg on my face now, isn't there?
Because that's going to end up costing $1,000.
Yeah, way more because I've got to get 2 new hard drives that I just burnt out, recover 2.
Yeah.
And
was there anything important on the second one?
The second one was backed up mainly.
Yeah.
So pretty much there was nothing that had not been backed up somewhere else, thank God. But not great. And also, it's just hilarious to me that this is a known fault. And that the people there that were making these hard drives are like, okay, so we come back from the lab, we've made this new external hard drive enclosure. And they go, cool. Have we done some testing? They go, yeah, we've done some testing. Now, here's the thing. In 10 to 15% of these hard drives, we find that if you put a hard drive in it, it'll wipe it. It'll just fry it, destroy it. But that's only 10 to 15% of the time. The rest of the time, they're totally fine. You put the hard drives in, people are reading them, everyone's happy. But there's this 10 to 15%. What do you think? And they go, sounds great. Let's put it on the market. I'm sure no one will be bothered that this hard drive enclosure will wipe their hard drives. I'm sure this won't be an issue for people that want to store their hard drives. They'll get it fucking wiped instead. Meant to be for reading hard drives, our product wipes them. Just destroys them. I'm sure that'll be fine. Well, there'll be no repercussions to this. Roll it out. Print 1,000, print 2,000. Let's get them all out there. Get them out. Make them cheap though because of that 10 to 15% thing. So we can make sure we sell them all before, this ill will builds up. And of course, you can't get to China. You can't get to China. You send an email to them. What?
So what?
So they give a shit?
Yeah.
They're China. They don't fucking care about the 10 to 15%. If they cared, they wouldn't have created these data external hard drive enclosures. So, yes, that's a little update on that. Lost another hard drive. Lessons learned.
Tough times.
Lessons learned.
Tough times.
Also, just want to throw this out there just because I think this is, what people don't necessarily think. You go, okay, well, how much does a hard drive cost? A 4 terabyte hard drive on special costs $190, right? So you got 4 of them. That's like $800-ish. So that's $800 for one sort of external enclosure. The external enclosure itself costs between $600 and $1,000. So it's $1,800. Maybe a little bit less. Maybe we'll just say $1,600. Cool. Then you got to do that all twice because you got to back all of that up. So it's really like $3,000 and you haven't done anything. You've literally just got stuff to put your footage. That's fucking it. That's all you did with that.
Filmmaking.
It's fucking $3,000. And the hard drives have got way cheaper. This is cheap. That's not me putting in the good hard drives. That's me putting in slow, shitty hard drives. If you want to go the solid state drives, they're like $300 for a terabyte.
Filmmaking. She's an expensive game, mate. She's an expensive game.
Just process that.
You're in shock. Yeah, it seems
process
like
that.
Now, I met a beautiful filmmaker recently at a bar, and she said that one of her favourite pieces of my work is the meme, "It was always a tough decision for Harley, body wash or shampoo." And it's me standing there with my hairy back out holding a body wash and a shampoo. Like, which one should I use? So of all the things that I've created, I survived a zombie holocaust.
No.
Don't worry about that. Anything else? Don't worry. No caller ID. Fine piece of art. No contributions
Harrow.
there. No Harrow. Who cares?
Project.
The hairy back memes. That's what chicks know me for in bars.
Hairy back memes that you plagiarized from
an old comic
from
years ago. Yeah, twice. I plagiarized it twice actually. Now hang on, I've got a new segment. I'll just play. I've got a pre-recorded intro. I'll just play it. Da 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 da. Harley's a cunt. That's the intro for the new segment. It's basically a collation of stories of me being an arsehole to people, and then usually feeling bad about it. So, a couple of previous installments.
You'll notice how it doesn't stop you from being an arsehole. You just feel bad about it afterwards. Doesn't prevent the next incident.
It prevents a lot of them. It's like a big net that catches most of them. Every now and then you catch yourself out.
One will slip through.
Yeah, exactly. One will slip through. But yeah, so it's basically, there's been some instances. There was a time that a guy pushed in front of us at the cafe.
Hey, listen, old man.
and I somewhat rudely told him to go to the back of the line. There was another time that a guy in the gas station was trying to make me to take cash out in order to buy something in order to get cash out in order to buy something in the store, which I, again, possibly a bit rudely neglected to do. Well, in this particular case, I told a guy to fuck off at the airport in front of his mum.
How old was he?
He was like at least 12. No. He was like an adult.
Okay.
He was an adult. Now, I'd like to point out that the purpose of this segment is not to reward or glorify shitty behavior, okay? But to warn of its perils. I'm only human. I'm a multifaceted being, and sometimes I'm a dickhead, right? And I can't help it. And at least I'm honest enough to admit it and share it with the Sifty 150. So I was at the very end of my hosting responsibilities when working on this big film festival, and I'd been hosting 8 international filmmakers for a week, and I was just this night dropping them off at the airport. And the week had gone very smoothly, and now I was on the home stretch, and I just needed to get them on the plane, basically. And my guests had literally joined the line and were now on the other side of the barrier from me when I saw an old guy ahead of my guests yelling to his family who hadn't joined the queue yet, and he was gesturing angrily that they should just duck the barrier and get in behind him, thus pushing in front of my guests. And in that moment, I also interpreted his annoyance as being partially like at my guests, because they were in the line, but they hadn't like formed up tightly. And so anyway, my protective instincts kicked in, and I tightened up our formation, and I go, yeah, that's not how it works, loudly to them. Now, not in the queue yet, on the same side of the barrier as me was the son and the mum and all the luggage. And in the queue was the dad and his luggage, and the dad, and so basically the dad had gotten ahead of his family and not bothered to wait for them before joining the queue, and now he was stranded halfway up the line like an imbecile. Now, there was still a gap sort of in amongst all my filmmakers, and I could see them kind of eyeing up this gap, and then he just started pushing, like, the guy started pushing, he started lifting, he was going to go under the barrier and just push in, basically. And so I was like, hey, fuck off, man, go to the end of the line like everyone else. Which he replied, what's your language? Which is probably a fair call. I acknowledge that I might not have been, I might have been able to find a less abrasive way to resolve the situation. And, we made eye contact, and he goes, hey, I'm talking to my dad, man. And for a moment, I thought he was saying that they weren't pushing in and that he was just talking to his dad, but actually they were on different flights or something, and they were just talking. And so I was like, oh, sorry, I thought you were about to jump the queue. To which he replied, I'm talking to my dad, man. I'm not talking to you. At which point I turned back to my guests, and one of them goes, is everything okay? To which I replied, fine, everything's fine, totally fine, everything's good. Now, some of you might say, well, Harley, why wouldn't you just let the rest of the family in? It's not like the plane's going to take off with this many people still on the ground. You know, what's the difference? Also, they're old. You horrible son of a bitch. You know, to that I would reply, I had a job to do, which was to ensure that my guests caught their flight. If due to my negligence 8 guests missed their flights, I would be in deep shit and would greatly affect my plans for Operation GoPro. Now, my logical brain sees that it makes far more sense for the bozo with the slow family to forfeit his space in the fucking queue and return to the back of the line like a gentleman, rather than inhibit 8 other travellers. So let's not paint a picture of Harley the Grinch bullying some poor travelling family. Some poor guy at the beginning of a 12-hour flight with his elderly parents, the type of guy who really just needs to catch a break. Let's not paint that picture. Because here's the thing. He never said he was on a different flight. He never denied my charge that he was about to jump the queue. The fact is that they were common queue jumpers, right up there with parking wardens, that lot, and I don't give a shit how old the offenders are. Okay, the queue is sacred symmetry. It only works if you follow the laws of the equation. If everyone stands in the queue, you'll reach the front eventually. Without the queue, all is chaos. It's just mobs of people scrambling for their heart's desires. So I saw something wrong, and I stood up, and I said something for the sake of our society. I might not be the hero you deserve, but god damn it, I'm the hero you need. So yeah. And then I walked away into the sunset, and then I got a speeding ticket on the way home.
Good stuff.
Yeah? Who's the bad guy there?
They're the bad guy, but you are also rude.
Yeah, that's the thing. They were bad, but I was rude. And that's the thing.
But I look, to be honest, I have to kind of take your side because I hate queue jumpers.
Yeah.
I can't stand queue jumpers. And I also just so blatant. Like, hey, just jump in front of fucking everyone. Just jump in. Yeah, fuck all them.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking.
Come on, fuck all them. Just jump in front of them. They don't care about their place ahead of us. Just fuck them. Because I'm here, that means you're here. No. You can't walk here to your family and then just get magic Just go
dibs.
to the back.
Yeah. Well, I'm quite surprised that you agree with me. I thought you'd be like, Harley, you're a son of a bitch.
I mean, how old was these people?
Well, the guy was probably about my age, about our age, I guess, like 30-ish.
Yeah.
And his parents were whatever age our parents would be, so like 50s, 60s.
So which one was trying to jump in?
So the dad was in the queue.
Yeah.
And my guests were behind the dad, all of them, and then the family arrived, which was the mum and the son, and they arrived because they were slow for whatever reason. So so he hadn't waited for his family. He had joined the queue, then we had joined the queue, then he was trying to get his family in ahead of us instead of just going to the back of the queue and waiting for his family. See? So unacceptable, sir.
But who's dad? When he's, I'm talking to my dad, man.
The dad was the guy in the queue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the son was saying,
I'm talking to my dad.
Yeah, because I told the son to fuck off.
Right.
When he was trying to push in.
Right.
I didn't tell the dad to fuck off.
Right.
Yeah. And he was like, hey, I'm talking to my dad, man. I'm not talking to you. It was like, yeah. Well, at the time, I was like, that's a weird thing to say, because I was like, yeah, okay, you're not talking to me, but like, you are trying to push in.
You're trying to push in.
So like, who gives a shit who you're fucking talking to?
Yeah.
I don't really care who you're talking to, mate.
Yeah.
So yes. I had an audition. And it went really well. It was, it actually went pretty great. It's for a TV miniseries, and if I get it, it's going to be, I don't know how many days it'll be, but it'll be a good role playing a real-life character in a sort of an autobiographical sort of story about a famous New Zealander. What do you got?
Well, so it's real life. It's based around a real life TV show, isn't it?
What? My audition?
Yeah.
No, my audition was based on a real life person, a real life sports player, and his biography.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motherfucker Jones on the live stream. Shout out to Motherfucker Jones. He or she says, Harley fucking rules. I don't think you were rude at all. Amen, brother or sister. Thank you.
Now, I don't know, but maybe his name belies a certain set of values and principles that maybe would incline him to take your side.
Yeah. Maybe. He's obviously Motherfucker Jones is clearly sort of not too worried about what other people think of him.
Yeah.
Now, that article that we read from at the beginning of the show about Post Malone, that was sent in by Jason Coombs.
A great read. I recommend anyone to have a look at that and judge for yourself whether Post Malone is shit or the punk. What was it? The rebirth.
The rebirth of punk rock.
The rebirth.
Mumble rap is the rebirth of punk rock. You can quote me. You can fucking quote me, man.
No, mumble rap is like a horrible diversion off of the already quite average trap music. And it's, yeah. No, yes, but it's a good article, it's a good read, and I think it does sort of speak to
I didn't think it was that great.
Sign of the times.
I didn't think it was that great.
Sign of the times.
Disagreed with the majority of what it said. Seemed like cheap shots.
I love it when you're exposed as a simpleton for your artistic tastes.
I have not been exposed as a simpleton. Mumble rap is a very, it's a deep movement. I tell you, like, they don't even need lyrics to express emotion. They can just mumble through it, and we still get the gist.
You know what I like about it? Harley?
I like the streets. God damn it. It was good.
I'm walking along. I don't have any
ice cream.
I don't have any musical ability. Nor do I really have anything profound to say, so I'm walking along. I look up, I look down, I turn around, I'm sideways, I'm sad.
We opened the show one time with
Dry your eyes, mate.
With some of the streets.
Fuck.
It's good stuff. I just like stuff that's a little bit different. I also like how in the mumble rap, how they're mumbling, because they're high. They're mumbling, or at least they're pretending to be high. They're mumbling, because they're joeing out on opioids, that's the whole thing. But they're being like honest about it. They're not trying to disguise it from the music. They're not trying to pretend they're not drug addicts. They're just
so little.
I appreciate the honesty.
So little investment in your craft that you can't even show up to a fucking recording session without getting fucking smashed off your face and mumbling and slurring your words to the point of forgetting them, and then going, "Hey." Yeah, no one's even going to really notice this. If we're, yeah, I'm drunk, it's not time. That sounds pretty good. We don't need to re-record that when I'm like fucking straight.
Yeah.
Let's just put that in there.
Yeah.
People will just believe it.
Yeah. I think a lot of it's probably faked.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah. Well, what are you working on at the moment? Guy tonight is editing some stuff. Which is this podcast is taking him away from his very important editing.
Yeah, so at the moment I've just started working with university here, doing some promotional videos for them, which we talked about I think last week. This job is great. It's really cool. It pays well. It's all good stuff, and it's definitely a step in the right direction for me. But the problem is that it pays monthly, and it pays a month behind. So essentially, I'm doing a month and a half's work without getting paid for it, which essentially means that...
Well, you are getting paid for it.
I am getting paid for it, but I'm not getting paid...
You'll be broke in the interim.
Exactly. Or not even broke. It's more that, well, okay, I still need money. I still need the income coming in. So that 20 hours a week that I'm working... doesn't really exist. Therefore, it is really just additional to all my other jobs, which were there was no small amount of working that I was doing before I took on this extra work. So she's going to be a tough old couple months there till December the 20th.
But then, just before Christmas, you'll be fucking rolling in green.
Boom.
Rolling in green.
So that's what I'm working on at the moment. I also want to shout out to Sam Wheeler, 5150 listener.
Shout out Sam.
He's I'm reading his posts online. He's going through some tough times, man, and he's just struggling to get out there in the world and suffering from depression, like I think we all do at times. And he was like, look, don't forget about me. Don't stop, even though I don't feel comfortable with sort of getting out and doing things at the moment. Don't stop inviting me. And so just thinking of him. And he also did mention to us that he was like, oh, I would have got you guys a hard drive sort of thing if I could afford it. Sam,
no need.
No need, mate. No need. At the end of the day, we are making good money. Well,
we're making money.
We're making money.
We're working.
And we'd never want to take, away from you. So, don't feel that you would have to help us out in that way. Just your listenership and also helping out on Imi the Vegan was amazing stuff. And I do have your smoke machine still, and I will return that to you when you need it. I'm just being lazy because I don't want to do that big drive. That's really it. I just don't. It's just a long drive. It's like an hour there and back.
But shout out, Sam Wheeler. Keep your head up, son.
Yep.
Keep tuning in.
Keep doing your thing.
Keep hanging out. Keep working on your art.
Keep continuing.
I check out your live stream sometimes.
Your artistic pursuits, because that's inspiring for us too. So keep at it.
Nocturnal 3D. That's what people should go look up.
So check him out.
Nocturnal 3D is one of his creative places. There's 5150 listeners. If you guys want to support each other, Nocturnal 3D. Go check him out.
Now, I can't remember. Did I talk about the hysterical Uber lady who tried to jump? I mean, I know I mentioned it to you briefly, but did we talk about it on the podcast? She tried to jump out of a car and...
No, I don't think so. You last time we spoke about Uber was a hippie who was like...
Who believed in the reptile people.
The reptile people, yeah.
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 Well, just open up the Uber files.
Okay.
Before we go. So, this was a little while... This was a couple of weeks ago. But, sometimes the worst part sometimes about Ubering is the people. And
that's often the case with most things on Earth.
But
the worst bit about it's the people.
But more specifically, the drunk people, but only certain states of drunkenness. There's certain, there's the happy drunk. There's the sleepy drunk. There's the jovial drunk. All of those are fine. But then there's the hysterical nut job drunk. And, this person, so essentially that it was this person and her husband were being escorted into the car, and she was crying before she even got in the car. And I was like, oh boy.
How old were these people?
Probably in their 40s.
Have you noticed that people, like the next generation up from us...
are not very happy?
Well, and that they can't handle their piss. They tend to get, when they get drunk, they get super shit-faced. Yeah. And you're like, how the fuck are you that old and still getting that shit-faced?
Yes. Well, it's not what we're drinking, it's how we're drinking, or whatever the fuck that saying was.
No, that's the saying. Because when I work at a bar, right, I work at a live, every now and then I work at this live venue, and sometimes when I'm working there's a gig for young people, and there's other times there's gigs for old people. So you've always got a different but specific audience depending on who's playing. And I've noticed that it's the oldies. They're the ones who get real trashy, get real trash. They get real aggressive, and they get bossy, and this is not. Oh, you don't. What do you mean you don't have the dutes? What do you don't have the dutes? Fucking get out of here. Here's your plastic cup full of beer. Piss off. So yes. Anyway, those older people. Rant over.
So anyway, they got into my car. Just crying already, and I was like, oh boy, this is going to be an uncomfortable drive. I clicked where we were heading to, 25 minutes away. I was like, oh boy, yeah, cool, it's a long fare, but really, do I want to be in here for 25 minutes with this? So this lady, she's crying, and she's like, oh, I just need to get home to my babies. Where are my babies? Where are my babies? And I was like, and
the husband
was like, oh, there, it's all right, dear. We're going home to them. We're going home. She's like, I should have never gone out. I should have never gone out. I should have never done it. Oh. And then she just tried to get out of the car when we were stopped at a traffic light, and I was like, oh, come on. Are you fucking serious? This is getting ridiculous. Yeah. And she was like, and he was like, no, it's all right, mate. It's all right. Don't worry. I've got her. Literally got her to freaking sleep her to try and stop her from freaking getting out of the car. I was like, we're about to get onto the motorway. I don't really need this.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, don't worry about it, mate. Don't worry. It'll be all good. It'll be all good. And I was like, okay. And then she started going on, and she was like, she was just like sobbing and moaning as we were just driving along the highway. So first it was the babies. Then it was, I don't know what to tell him, Chris. I don't know what to tell him. They come to me and they say, Mum, why are you not happy, Mum? Why are you not happy? And I don't know what to tell him because I just want to die. I just want to die. Oh. And again, I was like, okay, this is really where we can't get out of this.
This is a harrowing story.
But I just honestly think it was drunk hysteria. I don't think, because then it was like, I don't know, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Who are these people? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you?
What, to you?
To
or to
me.
him? Right. Yeah.
I was like, I'm the Uber driver.
Yeah.
That's all I was like. I was like, I'm the Uber driver that's getting real low on patience.
Yeah.
This is what I was thinking in my head. I was like, I'm the Uber driver. She's like, no, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Then she tried to open the door while we're driving at like 100 miles per hour. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And I was like, okay, I'm really tempted to just pull over right here on the highway. You guys can figure it out. You can walk. You can do whatever you want. But like now this is a danger. Like I can't have people leaping out of a 100-kilometer vehicle, and he's like, no, mate, it's all good, I've got her, it's all good. And I was like,
do you think it was really your husband, or do you think she was in some sort of peril?
No, it was definitely her husband. And then the next one she goes, I can't handle my piss. Are you fucking happy, Chris? You said that I couldn't handle my piss. Well, I fucking can't handle my piss. Are you fucking happy now? Are you fucking happy? Because you're right. You're right.
He should have filmed that.
And I mean, look, it was pretty hilarious.
He could have filmed that and used it for ammunition for the rest of his relationship.
And he was like, oh no, it's all right. And I was like, man, this guy's more patient than me. Yeah. I would have thrown her out the car by now. But also, how dumb are you to try and get out of a car while it's driving that?
Some people, when they're drunk, are just totally different people. They're just fucked. Like, sometimes you see people and you're like, they're not there anymore. And it's weird because I never get that type of drunk where you're just a different person. You're just somebody else and you're just completely out of control.
And that's right. And then we get to the house and then she's like, where the fuck are we? Where have you taken me? This isn't my house. And I was like, I'm pretty sure this is your house. Is your house this? And she's like, this isn't my house. And I was like, this is your house. So anyway, dropped him off. And I fucking drove away. And then like when I got home, because it was the last trip, it was like at 6 a.m. as well. It was like 6 a.m. this person was in this state.
Yeah.
And their fucking phone is in the back seat.
Was that the person that came around today?
No.
Because the person came around today to collect up their phone from an Uber.
They were also in a state, but nowhere near as bad.
Yeah.
But so then, obviously I went to bed. They proceeded to call my phone and wake me up multiple times as I was sleeping.
Yeah.
So the levels of inconvenience are really high.
To be fair, you did get minimum wage per hour for doing that job.
Yeah. And to top all of these kind of inconveniences and inconsistencies, this guy just showed up at our door. The husband showed up at our door the next day. And was like, hey, I'm looking for a phone?
Yeah.
And it was like, who the fuck are you, mate?
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Because like, how did he
figure out where you are?
Like, what the hell? And it turned out he'd use Find My Phone and it knocked on several houses around until he got to our one. And I wasn't even home at the time.
Yeah. So
eventually I did get... And also, she left a message at about 9 a.m. Hi, so-and-so here. I think I left my phone in your car the last night. If you could give me a call back. Say, alrighty, see you later. Cheerio. Yeah. Just the fucking box of birds.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? So anyway, this guy that had showed up completely out of the blue,
Unannounced, uninvited.
Uninvited. Yeah, very inappropriate, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Very inappropriate to not go through the proper channels, which is because I logged it as well with Uber, which was, someone left a thing in my vehicle. This is who I think it is. Here's my number for them to get in contact with me to arrange a time. So anyway, all of this happens. Motherfucker shows up again, and he was like, "Hey, how's it going, man?" Good phone. I was like, "Yeah." And I asked him, obviously, why he showed up, And he goes, "Oh, I had to use to find my phone." Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah, all right." And he goes, "Yeah, that night, oh, man, I barely remember anything, eh? I can't even really remember that trip back." And I was on the verge of going, "Well, let me fucking tell you what happened on that
Let me
fucking
remind
ride.
you.
Let me give you a little reminder of what the fuck happened. And now you fucking come up and show up unannounced at my fucking house, harassing my flatmates for your fucking dumb wife's phone." Like, you're really pushing my buttons, pal. But in the end, I was just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I just did it.
Well,
like,
that's the smart thing to do.
I was just like, I was repercussion free at this point. I mean, they were completely in the wrong. I'd just driven them home.
But just as a general life strategy,
Yeah.
it's always better to go, yeah, fuck it, than it is to make a big scene.
Yeah.
Zero gain.
Yeah.
Or you would have gained, you would have felt a little bit good.
Yeah.
But then you also would have been replaying it later because he would have replied something. He might have provoked you back. He might have said something back. Who knows what he might have said that might have pissed you off. And then you're spending the rest of your day replaying it, thinking about the things you could have said, or would have did, should have said, all that stuff. Much better to just go, here's your phone, get the fuck out of my life.
Just take it easy on the alcohol, lady. Shit. All that was uncalled for.
Well, that's it. Right? Got any more topics for us for the 5150?
That's it from me, mate.
All right. Well, look, it has been a pleasure. If you've enjoyed the show, please go to facebook.com/GuyandHarley and hit like. You can also support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Pigville. You can give us $1 a month and we'll use it to buy fake vaginas and beer for the show.
Maybe some external hard drives.
Well, maybe some external hard drives.
How much is in the old Pigville account?
Slightly less than we need for the next insurance payment.
God. Really thought there'd be more than that.
No. So it has been a pleasure.
I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, about $500, give or take.
Well, it is about $500 in there, but we've got to give that $500 to somebody who edited 5150 listener who edited Harrow for us recently.
Yeah.
So that's the $500 that's in there.
Yes, better give that to him. He's handed in his deliverables.
Yeah. Well, do you want to tell the listeners about that?
Well, I mean, we should just Harrow. We've been talking about making it into a short film. It has been made into a short film. There is still a few revisions that we need to do. We basically need to, all the extra bits that we've added back in, or things that kind of stitch it all together, need to be graded and mixed. Because, they are just in their raw form, whereas the rest is polished, graded, sound mixed, everything. So we have to sort of stitch it all together. So we're hoping to do some of that grading by next week. The sound mix is another story, but
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
All right. Shout out Nick Zaladi. Shout out Jason Coombs. Shout out Anu. Shout out Bevan.
Shout out my beautiful girlfriend.
Shout out motherfucker Jones. And all the rest of you guys. So thank you very much for listening. We will see you next week.
See you later.
Cool. So, there's one person on the live stream. What up, y'all?
Yeah.
Don't know if it's motherfucker Jones, if it's Anu lurking, or who is it? Don't know. But we're getting out of here.
Yes, we are.
So, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.